Now we are going to look at the standard limits that I promised to record the video on them, okay? And the first one that we have is limit of constant, which means if you have a limit and it is just a constant, how do we resolve it? Now, if f of x is equal to a constant, okay, a k, where k is the constant, then the limit of k as x approaches a will be equal to what? K. An example is, so number one, example one. Examples. All right, so number one, if you have a limit of a constant, all right, if you have a limit of a constant, say 2, all right, and it is approaching as x approaches maybe as x approaches a certain number also, which is, let's say, 3. All right, now the results will give you what? The same constant, okay? So that's what it means by if you have a limit k and then x is approaching a certain value a, you still have what? The constant k. Now with the second one, it means it says that limits of what? X to the power k. All right, that one, if you have limits x to the power k as x approaches a certain value, then you have that value to the power k, meaning number 2. So if you have an example, a limit of x to the power, say 2, all right, as x approaches 2. Now the answer will be 2 to the power 2, which will give you what? 4. All right, that is what the second standard says, okay? If you have a limit of x to the power a certain constant, okay, and then x is approaching a certain number, so you have what? That particular number that x is approaching to the power what? K, which is the constant, okay? And an example is here, the limit as x approaches what? 2, which is x squared here, okay? When you insert the 2 there, you have that. Now let's get to the third one. The third one also says that if you have limit of x, then the limit of if you have limit of x, now the limit of x as x approaches a will give you what? A. All right, an example is if you have the limit of a certain value x, okay, as x approaches say 4, all right, the results will give you what? 4. All right, because when you insert 4 into x as x approaches 4, meaning that this x is equal to what? 4, you still have your answer as 4. So now we are going to look at 1 or 2 examples which will help us to understand these limits, okay? Now the first example is if you have a limit of the function x plus 4 as x approaches 2, all right, as x approaches 2. Now the limit of a function x plus 4 as x approaches 4, the only thing that you have to do is to substitute the 2 that x is approaching into the function. So here we have what? 2 plus 4. So you realize your answer, 2 plus 4 will give you what? 6. Okay, so when it is given to you, all you need to do is to substitute the value of x into the function, then you go your way. Then the second example, which will help us understand the concept very well, is if you have a limit of x squared minus 4x minus plus 2, okay, plus 2 as x approaches 3. All right, so all you need to do is to pick the function itself, okay, then substitute the value of x into the function. So now we have x squared minus 4 times 3 plus 2. Okay, now we have x squared, which is 3 squared, you get 9 minus 4 times 3, we'll be having 12 plus 2, which is equal to, now 9 minus 12, you have minus 3, minus 3 plus 2, you have what? Minus 1. And this is the end of the standard limit. We have a lot of them, okay, we have about 2 of them, which I will be recording them in my next video, so watch out for that one too. So now the next one will be if you have a limit which is in the function f of x multiplying another f of, say, multiplying g of x. Okay, so it means that how to find the limit of f of x times g of x, it means you have two different functions. Okay, so how do we deal with? In my next video we will look at that. So don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and don't forget to share for the benefit of others.